The place for people in between beginner and master of craft and career. Today, I have my first guest, my good friend Joel Stephen Fleming. How are you, buddy?
Good, buddy. How are you?
I'm real good. I'm real excited to have you on the show. Thanks for being my first guest.
Thanks for having me, man.
Now, Joel is a Brisbane-based director, writer, producer, and filmmaker associated with 13th Street Films. Is there anything you would adjust to that description?
I would like to be a jack of all trades. We're now doing plays.
Really?
So we jumped into that for short and sweet this year.
Yes, you have.
So we just keep adding more strings to the bow, as they say, creatively. Podcaster as well. So I don't know. Yeah, anything like in the creative field we're kind of into as a small company in Brisbane. Yeah.
So your podcast, by the way, which I will plug in at the end, is Inside the Actor's Studio Apartment. Yes.
That's correct.
And make sure you have a listen to that one after this. So we'll jump right in. Now, you are some of the people that you work with, and a lot of the people you've met have been through uni.
Yep.
So where did you study?
So Griffith University at South Bank in Brisbane has a specialised film school. All sorts of classes and really high level equipment and teachers with great experience. So it's probably, I'd say, one of the best places to go in Brisbane for film school.
And when did you study again?
We finished 2017, I think. So I think 15 to 17, 3-year course.
And you focused. Did you want to be a director the whole time you were there, or did that come later on through the process of studying? Or
for me, it did. I've been doing like film related stuff, kind of self-taught as a teenager already. Back in the early days when none of this tech was any good and your programs would crash and all that stuff. But I've always been interested in creative writing as well. So for me, it's always like a writer director. I have never directed someone else's script until literally tomorrow. I am doing that. So it's going to be a first and it's going to be interesting. But yeah, it comes from creative, need to like tell a story. In film school, you do kind of specialize group assignment to group assignment, which is little short films, but you start to specialize more in second year and through and, do specific classes for what you're into. So I did, everything that was writing and directing, I did.
Because that actually is leading me to my first kind of like proper question, which is about uni. Because there's an opinion I've heard a lot of more recently, which is that for creative arts jobs and careers, that uni is not necessarily necessary. And I wanted to know, I in comparison to like a doctor.
Yeah, okay.
And I actually still am trying to figure out if I agree with that or not. But I wanted to know what your thoughts on university in general, but mainly in regards to what you're doing. Because from what it sounds like, you were already doing stuff when you were younger. Mm-hmm. And I'm curious if there was a main thought or decision that was, I'm going to study this.
Yeah, so I think, obviously, if you're a doctor, there's higher stakes, if you've got people who can die on your watch or a surgeon or something like that. But as an artist, there's a lot of, I get you that it's kind of more of a debate because there's so many different ways to make art and, styles of every art. I think for me, the passion is the first thing. It's the forefront. If you don't have that, there's no point. You're not going to film school to be rich, especially in Australia. You're not going to think that you're going to be a millionaire because of film school. It's got to be very passion driven. For me, I was always into it since I was a kid. Kind of long sideways journey to get there as a mature age student to actually do it. and I think it really, changed everything for me, like professional level, coming up as far as whatever I didn't know that I thought I could learn on the internet or whatever. There was so many things. And then the other great thing about film specific degrees is you need to have that network of crew to interact and work with and help. You'll help each other. You'll volunteer time to each other's things. And so that's what I have now, is like a great group of colleagues, and that's really important. As well as that, like, kind of that network that the uni teachers have, and all the experiences you can do through that, like going trips overseas and things like that. So I think it's necessary, more so in film than other arts maybe, but that's from my limited knowledge of, how the other arts industries work.
Yeah. Would you say that all or the majority of kind of your core crew are people you met either at or through uni?
Yeah, definitely. So basically, I think most of our crew, probably like 90% is always from our exact uni, and then you'd say like 70% of that is our, cohort year level. So you get really bonded with those guys because you go through this shared experience, and this, especially in third year, you do these bigger projects that take a lot of time and preparation, and you all work on each other's again, and you're all exhausted, and it's a very like a family style thing. And that's what I always say about film crews, is you become like a weird family between the cast and the crew and everyone, and you just force together and you have to get along, and that's, that the bond is like created just like a family.
Yeah, because that's fairly true for I reckon a lot of actors, too, that they form like theatre groups with a lot of the people they go to uni with, and even like most of the acting friends that I know that are interested in screen or that do screen as well, go out of their way to try and do Griffith stuff, because it was actually I remember seeing Shani Tones doing a film. I can't remember what year, and I thought I have to do a Griffith grad film because they're really high quality.
Yeah.
I even felt odd calling them student films, because student films have a bit of a bad rap, and sometimes for a good reason. But those,
it's a bit of a cliched name. Like when you hear student film, people are like, oh.
But that's what drew me to try and act with Griffith students, and then that's how I met Jake Doak, and that's sort of how we got in touch a little bit.
Yeah.
And even how that's actually the first time I experienced Ryan Hance. Saw him in a Griffith film, and I thought, I want to be friends with that guy.
That's a big personality kid, Ryan Hance.
So yeah, even if it's not entirely because I personally feel that way, that with a lot of creative arts at uni, the networking or sometimes should be the main thing, because it's hard to make it a curriculum. It's hard to make a creative arts career out of an academic process, I find.
Definitely. With film, because there is an industry to it, obviously in Australia it's limited. There's so many different roles, so you can really learn things that you wouldn't learn on smaller, indie sets, because you do get that kind of experience of a big set where they do those grad films and you have like 20 people in your crew, so you're doing all these different tasks. And also what Griffith does a lot better than other unis, as far as I know, is you make a lot more films. So you learn from doing, you make the mistakes, next time you try and fix that mistake, you make a new one, and that's just life. That's like any schooling,
Yeah.
But yeah, you can't devalue education. You learn a lot from all these different experienced tutors. Some are very theory based and get you into like the psychology of film and the great films of Europe and things that like most young people these days would never think to watch, that they kind of force fed them. All the Scandinavian filmmakers and the Fellinis and whoever else from those 50s and up kind of postmodern era. And that stuff they learn techniques and ideas they never would have contemplated, and thought to put in their own little shorts before. Yeah,
we had the same thing with actors and plays and films from decades and sometimes centuries ago that we would have never kind of stumbled across otherwise, being curated by people that work in that industry, and that's the thing that they love, and that's not necessarily something you can teach yourself on the internet.
Yeah, there's so many things that good about the technology, but there's something to that connection of like engaging, even in a group experience. Of we watch this film that most of the kids are like, "What the fuck did I just watch?" And then let's talk about it. What did you think? Why did you hate it or whatever? And there's something to be said about that real life group engagement, that tribal experience.
Yeah, for sure. So while you were there, you had slightly different focuses, mostly writing and directing. And now with a lot of the things you do with 13th Street and the different avenues you're exploring, like plays, for example, I'm curious how you're, as a director, maybe more so, but how has writing and producing affected your directing, or kind of vice versa? Because you do a few different things, I'm sure there's a carryover and a bit of bleeding over into the other things.
Definitely.
Have you found that it's more valuable to, not even just on a base level, but in a slightly deeper level, learn more about those other crafts and actually involve yourself in doing them?
Definitely. So because we run 13th Street as a business, we try and make profit just so we can make what we want to make the art, make the narrative stuff that we are passionate about. So I've had to learn a lot about the kind of ins and outs of serious organized producing, of getting permits and scheduling and budgeting and all the things that a director usually doesn't want to do. And I still don't enjoy it, but you have to do it to achieve the result of like making whatever it is. So we shoot television commercials and stuff like that with big budgets and complicated sets and stunts and You've got to learn the ins and outs. Otherwise, if we were paying producer, we'd be losing all our profit margin. So basically, Sean and I, my partner, do a lot of extra jobs and take on, wear a lot of different hats to get anything made that we make. Just like, Riggleton or something that we're producing as a little company. That's a huge scope project. Takes a lot of different like skills, and you trying to pick them up as you go. And it's just work hours, just the passion to work harder and longer than anyone else to make it happen.
Yeah, because it seems like for example, from an actor's perspective, there's been this long, I'm not sure if it's a trope or what it is, but the triple threat, right? The singer, actor, dancer, or whatever. Basically, you can't be a one-trick pony. If you are a one-trick pony, you'd be the best damn trick pony there is.
Yeah.
And for you, that seems, I'm curious whether that was more out of desire and curiosity, or whether it was more out of necessity, or if that depends on the thing.
Well, in a way, when you're a director, if you, especially at an indie scale, you have to be across everything anyway. So you're partly involved in everything the producer's doing, and they're talking to you about every aspect of the film usually that's, in their kind of wheelhouse. You're talking to the DOP about their area, the production designer, whatever. So you kind of are always this overseeing figure. So it's just doing more of that stuff, and it is a necessity really for doing the producing stuff. I don't have the passion for it, and I can be organized and get things done, but I'm not the best with that kind of structure, because I am a creative weirdo that wants to go off on a tangent and write for 10 hours on my new idea instead of do the paperwork thing that I have to do. So there's like the thing of disciplining myself and making myself more professional in a way as well.
Cool. So some of them are more the desire to do that, and some of them are more the discipline to make things happen.
Yeah, I'd say like if no one else is going to do it in most cases, then I have to, because I want the end result. It's just that grind of doing that bit to get to do the bit I love, which is directing guys like you, getting in that scene on set, and I love the energy of set, and that's where I want to be. If I could direct every day, I would.
Cool. Alrighty. Well, I've had the first-hand experience of being involved in 13th Street social media, from a combination of my face is in some of the stuff And also being involved in promoting things and sharing things. And I guess this is almost a job in of itself, because there are people that do promotion and marketing. And for you, I'm curious what you've learned about utilizing social media as a maker. I'm just going to use that term as a broad umbrella. And how do you like to convey instructions? Sounds too harsh, but to share
like a message.
Yeah, share the message with your cast and crew to then and share that with an audience, because the for example, me working with you, the cast of Wriggleton and Summer School have all been involved in the social media. They're not you're not being whipped to whip ups and stuff, but the group effort and getting more eyes on things, and just the difficulty of social media attention in these days. So what have you learned since making the step to properly promoting and properly marketing your stuff?
Okay, so heaps of stuff. So that's, again, back to indie filmmaking, like getting all you guys on board to actually help push the product is essential to help it succeed. And you even see it with big movie stars now, like The Rock will have in his contract, you need to post about the film 3 times this week when it's, like the release of the film, they use it to like the top level actors now, so it goes all the way down to us.
Yeah, because like Jake Gyllenhaal got Instagram for Spider-Man, Joaquin Phoenix got Instagram for Joker.
Yeah, it's almost like they have to, and they because some of them are those really arty actors that aren't interested in self-promoting or putting their abs online or whatever people do on Instagram. And I'm also the same. Like, I kind of had it to muck around with when I was, when it first came out, but I never really put anything on there except like cute dog pictures. So like changing to like, okay, this is like a really powerful marketing tool was a lot to learn. We did a lot of research, kind of online, talked to other indie filmmakers about how they did it, and also you just kind of learn from seeing other things on Facebook and Instagram of projects in Brisbane or Australia. The marketing. I talked to one of the actors from Family Law, who I know, Shu.
Yeah.
She gave me like a kind of rundown of how they did it and how they as actors were told to promote it and the things to share. They would send them assets and say, like, this is the thing to share. Don't just share your picture from set, your selfie or whatever. They want this specific thing, the color scheme, palette, the right font, and all the things that sell like what the show is. So that's part of the thing we took on, is like, we make content, Sean like does it up, and we give it to you guys like, this is your character shot, use this specific thing, and that really helps you stay on like brand of like what is this show, what's the feel of it, who are these characters, and what's the tone, is it funny, is it dramatic, whatever it is, that's all wrapped up into that. And then, like, as far as posting, you just try not to annoy people by posting too much, but you want to keep it in their eye and mindset enough. So we kind of post about 3 times a week for content when we're really running a campaign. Like right now, we're fundraising, so we'll do more so. And then if it was just kind of keeping it in people's mindset and they want to watch the online content, then maybe you do 1 post a week. Yeah.
Right. Well, we are going to wrap up this right now. We're going to do a 2-parter, and I say we're going to do a 2-parter. I'm going to stop the camera for a quick sec, have a little tea break, and then start up again. But thank you for this short evening with me answering some Q&A, and for anyone who's listening to this back to back, we'll see you in a moment. Thanks for listening.